Well, greetings and hello there on this beautiful September 30th, 2021 in a Martian desert. Might as well be. This is an important message to relay to you guys. It will be recounted verbatim, but it is going to open up a lot of cans of worms. That is Faithie Berg, David Berg's daughter, issuing out a letter on her Facebook, which has like 60 friends, and she doesn't seem to know that not more people are going to see it than that. But I'm friends with one of her friends there, and he just relayed to me messages that she's sending, basically a call to action, a rally to the troops, a really positive message, a really desperate message, because her health isn't very good. I think she lives somewhere in Texas, and she actually traveled to Washington to try to wake up some of the sleepy people and to just rally the troops, stand up against all this coming communism. She's lived in communist countries. She understands about dictatorship and the danger of what we're facing here. And it was just a powerful message from someone that really had a position of leadership for a long time. And she said pretty bluntly, to all of you who are ever in the family, you know, my dad and my siblings, we worked hard to give you guys a place where you can escape the system and have a meaningful life. Kind of a, you know, it was a soldier training operation, worldwide network, and it's still in operation. But she quite frankly said, well, my stepmom has pretty much stolen all of our inheritance, and they are living in hiding, and they're not even really facing, I mean, I'm adding words to this, but the leadership, if you want to call it that, pulled a Joe Biden, a kind of a coup, if you will, and shut everything down about 10 years ago. Tons of people have committed suicide or died in a bad place, alcoholism, whatever, drugs, lost their faith. And meanwhile, you don't even hear about somebody like Faithie until recently. She started to put out these messages. I'm going to ask for permission through a friend if we can post those. But the gist of it was, look, I need help here. You know, I don't even have any resources, but I'm not here just surviving. I want to fight. I want to help rally the army for a Jesus revolution for this day and age. She wouldn't be in the position to be able to manage something like that, but just kind of like the Pope putting down the seal and saying, "We shall rise," you know, and he's like 90. The other warriors should rise. And I know quite a few of those people. So as I stand here in the wilderness, there's a helicopter landing pad down there. There's some military Navy training for living off grid going on. Pretty epic place. I might want to get a staff or something because there's mountain lions. I just want to discuss this and let you know that there is a call to action as of today. You know, the last couple of days we did some broadcasts about the holy war. You know, the bad guys have declared war on us. You know, COVID is a religion. Vaccines are a sacrament. Totally satanic, totally waging. They don't even deserve the term holy war. They can have a jihad. We're the crusaders, the ones who are fighting for God. We might look like Don Quixote, you know, a lot of the times having these misadventures. I've certainly had a lot of those, going to Japan, learning Japanese, going to China, underground mission work, going to Taiwan, learning Chinese, and then going to Hawaii and learning, well, homesteading, learning chainsaws and machetes, and now in California, having contacted a lot of different ministries and leaders and thought leaders and warriors. Have one staying with me right now, actually. It's on. You know, we're hitting our boots here running. We've stayed in like 3 different places already, and you know, it's kind of chaotic. Our Millennium Falcon, some of the landing gear isn't really working. We're trying to find our place to really land, and it's kind of like touching down here on this mountain ridge, and then it's like going over to that mountain ridge, and it's like, you know, the Millennium Falcon just crashing along there and just smashing on that and bouncing, and then the Starship Enterprise. Choose your favorite spaceship movie. because we got spaceships in the spirit, and they're being deployed right now. We're all in this together to fight the evil. And it's a communist dictator, and there is a sleeping army of Rambo warriors, and there are way too many kids that are struggling, isolated, marooned, like that last Star Trek movie where the Enterprise crashes and it breaks into a million pieces, and all the pods end up in different areas all over the wilderness. And the whole movie is about them finding each other, finding out there's actually a derelict old Enterprise sitting there cloaked. This girl's been kind of assembling it. There's like a few things needed to have it blast off in the end. Great movie. Was not a success, so I guess the Star Trek series is pretty much over now. Picard doesn't count. Picard's a woke libtard now. But that's the situation with a lot of our warriors. And there are other people in their own right that have stood up and fought, both in the mystic realm and the fringe Christian realm, and people among my family, what's remnant of the discipleship movement. Steve Quayle mentioned my grandfather and knew what that movement was all about. If you listen to my last episode, I had a clip from Steve Quayle discussing, acknowledging that movement. So there are remnants of that, but they're scattered. And the people in charge of the family today, they call it TFI now, or Director's Corner, or Anchor, or whatever it is. It's anything but that. It's more like the former directors cornered, hiding, probably got a million legal lawsuits going after them. The Anchor is more like their Titanic that sank to the bottom of the sea. Maybe there's some people holed up in some air bubbles somewhere, sending up little Morse code messages, and that's what they got. But they got the Titanic and they sank it, and I know a lot of angry survivors all over the place who were soldiers, who are soldiers, and yet they're not allowed. They don't even get the honor of having served. Well, guess what? Faithie has stood up. Faithie, one of the people that really got the whole movement rolling. Her brother Aaron Berg and Hosea, the three of them, and I guess Deborah left in the beginning and tried to just smear the whole thing. And as far as I know, Faithie never did that. I don't think she ever went out and tried to smear everything. Although there were mistakes, and obviously there has been. If you've listened to my discourses, it's a very complicated, and it's just not worth going into the past right now, because we need to see who is still ready to stand and fight, who isn't out there. And I'm about to name names. I have people that are preying on women, former friends of mine, who are like, oh, I'm Michael's friend. And so if you get a phone call from anybody that's like, oh, I'm Michael's friend, can you just let me know? And I'm kind of watching this person. And there's other people like that too. They're creepers. So watch out. I'm not saying everybody that was in the family was good. I'm aware of a lot of legal battles and evil things that are going on. Kidnappers, you name it. I've come into contact with a lot of these people. And they hate me because I won't defend people just because they're my friend. Oh, yeah, they're a criminal now. Yeah, sure, they kidnapped your daughter and lied about you in court and said you're bad, but they're our friend. We're not going to say anything mean about them. So that's how Taiwan ended. 10 years in Taiwan. I have maybe like 3 friends there that I still trust that didn't go along with all that stuff. So we have maybe a handful of warriors around the world who have the training, who know that we are in the end times, and they know how to do the faith thing. They know how to provision. They know how to live communally and work hard and get up early if need be and stay up late if need be. And they're just wound up warriors. And Faithie is calling those. And she needs help too. We want to put her PayPal out there for people who want to send something to her. And I think we should send something too. But just most of what we can do is go and just put this message out there that Faithie is on the attack. And she's calling out the false leadership. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. It's about their inheritance having been stolen. But not to smear what they did as far as their mission work. But today it's a total tragedy what's happening. And it's much more than just money. It's like justice needs to be served for criminals, but also honor And those roles of being a fighter need to be returned. You know, there's a few people in North Carolina that I know of that are still good. There's some people that are confused all around the world, but they are still fighters. And I don't have time to get into that. But look, guys, it's time to not just talk about the past. It's time to rally and see who wants to fight this war today. If America goes down, that's it. You know, we don't really have anywhere to go. You've seen all these weak little third world countries being bought out by the United Nations. Taiwan isn't in the UN, but they're falling too. And I don't know about Japan. I mean, there's going to be a place in the wilderness. I don't think there's going to be countries necessarily. Russia might be one. But if America goes down, that's it, buddy. FEMA camps are being constructed. People are getting phone calls from the CDC asking, why haven't you taken the shot yet? Totally illegal databases have been assembled against those who haven't taken the shot. And I'm sure that's the majority of us, but they're making it look like, oh, you're weird, you're alone, why don't you take it? So we need to talk to as many people as we can, use every resource possible, and know that there is a sleeping giant. There is a crew of 1,000 starships that have been all almost like planned deconstruction. Maybe the CIA infiltrated and got everybody to just sign their name here. Okay, you're fired. You're no longer in the military. You will go and make a career for yourself and not talk to anyone, you know. And everybody got disassembled and lost the vision, and a lot of people died and just drank themselves to death or jumped off buildings, you name it. All kinds of horrible things happen. But we're still fighting. I'm going to do everything I can to raise the alarm. I'm telling you, Faithie is back, but we need to pray for her. She needs resources, but she also needs friends. She needs people that are going to be like, yeah, hell yeah, where do I sign up? And it's not just to like, well, Faithie's in charge now. No, but we need leaders like her to say what she said. And she needs prayer, she needs support. But really look in the mirror and see, what can you do? You know, what do you have in your hand? If it's not resources, do you have time where you can be an intercessor? Or do you have a testimony where you could share that, be a witness? And are there people in your neighborhood who need friends, who are lonely, who need somebody to reach out to them? I'll tell you, like, if you're a giving person, people will pour back into your hands 100-fold. Jesus said, give and it shall be given to you. Man shall pour abundantly into your lap, basically. So this is a time to don't ask what your country can do for you, but ask yourself, what can you do for your country? And I'm speaking to the New Jerusalem patriots, the people who love the Lord. You know, go on YouTube, watch some John Wayne movies. I don't know, what do you got to do? Just get out of the comfort zone and start realizing the bad guys are coming. I had a dream last night. There were zombie kind of witchcrafty people trying to invade my house, and I was having a shootout with a shotgun. And it was super hyper realistic, and there were witchcraft people, there were Satanists, and what they did was they had all these demonic people stationed all around their house to try to mess with us, to try to infiltrate. For some reason, I was really good at using that shotgun, and might be from both watching a John Wayne movie last night and playing about 20 minutes of that Resident Evil game, which is kind of violent, but whatever. There's a common theme in my dreams recently where there were children that were running to us, to our house for refuge. And we were, of course, letting them in, and the older ones checking them for weapons. It was a super desperate situation, but I shared another dream last night, similar thing, you know, about people getting away from a satanic or a new age cult thing and coming to live with us. So think of your house as a refuge in these days, and just look at what provisions you have. Store food, whatever, prepare, but expect God to do incredible miracles of multiplication, of hiding us, of provision, you name it. And that's it. So again, stay tuned. We'll probably read the whole letter from Faithie. She's been putting out several, so I'll put it on the website as soon as I can, and or my Telegram once I have permission, and just realize that this is it. This is a time for fighters. This is the time you've been waiting for forever. So fearful people go home, but we're the courageous. We're the ones who are going to defend the women and the children, not abuse them. And you know who you are, you weirdos doing that kind of stuff. You know who you are. Your names are on a list. It's only a matter of time before you get caught. But this is it. This is the call to war. God bless you. Michael Bash from faithbucks.com. Bye.